What's up, everyone? Welcome. Happy New Year to the Lioness Lair. I have just gotten back from today's game. It's Victory Sunday for the Lions, not so much for the Bears, but I've got a lot of stuff to share with you tonight. And it's the first day of the new year, and the Lions came in strong today. And with joining me tonight is, of course, Lady Lionor. So she's going to since I don't have the stats tonight for today's game, she's going to help us out with that. But so what did you guys think? Or what did you think of tonight's game, Lady Lion?
I thought we did exactly what we needed to do. I mean, we got our teeth kicked in last week, came off a really tough loss, and tonight is how good teams play against bad teams. You know, last week I thought what happened against Carolina was a little fluky, and this was kind of evidence of that. This is how a good Lions team should have played against a really not good Bears team. But I wasn't there, so I'm excited to hear about it from your perspective.
You know what? Today was the most fun ass whooping I think we could have had. So let's welcome some of the people that have been hanging out with us to chat. I know we're kind of starting a little late, but hey, I had to make a 4-hour trip home. So, Tornado, I hope your ride was a safe trip and it was a very enjoyable day. Yes, like I said, it was a fun ass whooping. I had an exciting day at time I'll always remember. Definitely. Paul Giroux, hey, Nicole, I'm sure you really enjoyed this game. Also, sure brings a good feelings about our Lions. Michael Hutt, good evening and happy Victory Sunday. Brian Stever, hey, Val and Nicole. Let's see, and I believe that's everybody that's in the chat, and they're going on about the playoff stuff, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, it was a very enjoyable game from start to finish. I had so much fun. I've got so much to share with you guys. I did share a little bit in our Facebook group, but I've got a lot more videos and a lot more pics. I'm charging my phone, so expect those to be rolling across social media after we get done with the game recap tonight. But I do have one bit of disappointing news to share. For some reason, the Detroit Lions did not do the on-screen tribute tonight for Jim, and I don't know why. So I will not be able to share that with you. But I still want to thank Dr. Detroit for the absolute amazing experience. It was fun. It was me and Jim's two childhood friends. One who is a Bears fan, Vince, who has never been to an NFL game either. The girls were there tonight. And it was their first NFL game experience as well. And his sister was there tonight as well. So Jim's sister was there tonight as well. So yeah, unfortunately he didn't get an on-screen tribute, but we still represented him from Prowl Nation. I did wear my iffy jersey tonight, and I also had my Bears gear. I had some Bears gear over it. So I had some interesting stories to share with that one as well. But because I had a couple of fun reactions with that one. But I don't know all of the stats of the game. So basically, I know that the Bears came out strong, scored right away. It was a battle at first, and then it all fell apart on the Bears side. And, of course, I have to give props to Kurt because Kurt Steele was the closest one to the score prediction for tonight. So, yes, it was a major ass whooping. And, unfortunately, I think I lost the bet tonight.
Yeah,
and if we don't know, sure. Kurt and I had a bet. Yep. That if J-Mo played an entire full game, I have to end up in a J-Mo jersey. And if he didn't, Kurt would have to wear a Bears cap.
Yeah, he didn't play the full game, but I'm pretty sure he got the start. I mean, no one really plays every snap unless you're a lineman. So,
well, if you got enough snaps like a normal starter would throughout the game, then that would count as a full game.
Snap counts will be out tomorrow.
So did I lose the bet or did I win the bet? Or am I still winning?
You're going to have to take that up with Kurt because Jamie definitely started, but I don't have the snap count yet. So you'll have to take that up with him.
So yeah, well, Kurt and I will have to battle that one out. And we'll reveal the results of that pretty soon. But, I brought my white diamonds with me, y'all, but it didn't help.
Help the Lions.
I guess. I did get a whiff of Sheila Fordham's white diamonds. Let me tell you, I was this close to her. I think I am on the game. I haven't been able to watch the game, but I did see myself kind of like try to make myself noticeable on the screen. So I'm going to go back and look at the game recap and see if I can pinpoint those moments that you could see me, because I was right behind the goalpost when they were scoring. I didn't see right to the edge of it.
I'm going to look for you on the replay. This was another sold out game. They were selling standing room only tickets. Was that place just hopping the whole time?
That place was hopping. The noise level towards the beginning of the game was at 110
decibels.
Yes. And it didn't go below 100 the entire game.
Yeah, last home game of the season.
The lowest the noise decibel went through the game was 101, I believe. So, yeah, it was mostly between like 104 to 110 the entire game. It was so fun. I had some Lions fans behind me who were talking some shit, and all I could do was laugh. They were hollering, Justin. Bears, you suck, and they were booing them. I've got video of them booing the Bears as they were coming out of the tunnel, because I could see everything coming out of the tunnel. I was kind of like, here's the goalpost, here's the tunnel, and I was like right there to the goalpost. So yeah, so I got to see all the fun, cool action. It was interesting. I did get an interesting reaction from fans. There was one guy who was from Chicago, but he was in Lions gear, rooting for the Lions. And he seen me in my gear. We had a great talk. And then, of course, somebody had to come ruin it. Because there was just this one Lions fan that almost made me go viral tonight, y'all. It was one Lions fan almost made me go, the inner Medea come right out. Because I'm sitting there, I'm just minding my own, right? And I have my Lions headband on. I have my Iffy jersey. I have this Chicago Bears jacket over me. And she taps me on the back of the shoulder. And I go behind and I said, yeah. And she says, well, why do you have Lions and Bears gear on? I said, well, my husband was a diehard Bears fan or diehard Lions fan, and I'm a diehard Bears fan. And we treated rivalry games like Super Bowls, and he passed away last year, and they're supposed to have an on-screen tribute for him tonight. So I'm here representing him and me, as a couple. And she went and had the nerve to say, she goes, well, he's in a better place than you tonight, isn't he?
Oh, for goodness sake.
And I'm like, and I kind of was shocked. And I was like, at first, and I was like, well, what do you mean? Because maybe I misunderstood that. I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. Did I misunderstand what you said? Were you saying something? Were you saying what you were saying? Or were you, you were saying something different? And I'm like, what do you mean exactly? He passed away last year, and they're supposed to tribute him tonight. And this was our thing. And she says, well, I just don't want to see those ugly colors anymore. And I said, well, I'm too crazy to fucking care.
She's lucky that's all you did.
She kind of giggled at me, but then I gave her that look like, I ain't playing, sister. I could have one of my friends go to their car and get the rest of the Bears gear out and really destroy your night. But well, she backed off. Yeah. Hey, Karen, excuse me. Yeah. That was totally inappropriate. That was totally not cool. Please don't do that. I love trash talking and stuff, but you don't need to do that to people. When you hear their story like that, I mean, it was a legit story. It wasn't like, I was being disrespectful. I'm here, for a special occasion, and you're like, well, I just don't like your colors because they're Bears colors. Well, you know what? It ain't all about you. It ain't all about you, boo. This game is not about you. Nobody knows who you are. The Lions don't even know who you are. So shut the fuck up. All right.
That could have ended much worse for her, actually. It's a good thing she backed off.
You could have, because my inner Medea, I could feel it arising. But I kept it to be what it is. But yeah, some fans are a-hole like that. Packers on. I mean, you know what? But there were some Lions fans behind me that were cracking me up, trash talking. I was having such a blast. They were like, Justin, the Bears suck. So it was funny as hell. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, whatever. So, and we were cracking people up because Tim was going, defense. I'm like, offense. So we were having a kick with it. So yes, it was a very, you just can't take Val anywhere. Yeah. I end up for some reason attracting that stuff, but I don't know. Let's go into the stats of the offense. The offense tonight for the Lions looked really, really good.
Yeah, everything looked really good for the Lions tonight, man. It was an ass kicking. And I'm sure some of the really good stats were just because the Bears really are that bad right now. I mean, they don't have anything to play for. Justin Fields is just out there getting development reps. I'm not surprised that the stadium was as loud as it was the entire time. This team is finally giving the fans something to root for. People are still talking playoffs. Yeah, it was a pretty lopsided game. So, okay, let's go into a few. We'll just go into game stats before we look at the players. First downs, good Lord. Lions had 26, Bears had 9. 9 all day long. There was one stretch where the Bears went on 9 drives and only got 6 total first downs. I mean, it was after those first 2 drives, boy, it was rough for the rest of the game for them. Third down conversions, we didn't even look that good. We were 4 for 12. They were 3 for 13. Both teams went for 1 fourth down conversion and did not get it. Yards, man, the Lions, man. 504 yards to the Bears, 230. Passing yards, Lions had 239 to the Bears 30. I mean, it's as lopsided as you can get, even rushing. That's where I kind of thought it was going to even out a little bit. We had 265 to their 200. And like 130 something of those came from Justin Fields himself. Dude still rushed for over 130 yards today. Sacks was a big one. We only took 2 sacks to lose 16 yards. We sacked Justin Fields 7 times for 45 yards. It was just crazy. The one stat that was in the Bears' favor was yards per rush. 9.1 yards per rush. That's a really, really, really good rushing average. We had 6.8, which is fine. That's perfectly respectable. But yeah, it was just lopsided all around today. They came out and scored on their first 2 drives. I was kind of thinking, maybe this isn't going to be the pushover team we thought it was. And they just did nothing for the rest of the day.
Well, it really took it downhill for the Bears for me when Justin Fields started to get sacked. I know he's got ACL issues, and it seemed like he might have been hurt. He did play well. He was throwing well. He did seem to be looking out there like he was in pain or suffering or having problems like that. But I don't know if that rattled him in any way. But that was one of the aspects that killed the Bears tonight. The other aspects that killed was Jalen Johnson and Pettis both went out on concussion.
Okay. Yeah, Justin Fields, they were showing on the broadcast over on the sideline, he was having his hip flexors worked on. And then we noticed for about a quarter and a half after that, he barely ran. I mean, he did scramble a couple times, but they didn't look like designed runs. So I think he was playing just a little bit banged up.
He probably was banged up, but I do know that that is a common thing that Justin Fields does throughout the game. They do that hip thing with him in almost every game to kind of
Mhm.
keep him flexible with the run. So I don't know if that was necessarily because he was banged up or it was
Mhm.
just basically the standard kind of thing that he kind of does to keep himself limber, so that he can run. It for me, it did not look in any way like he was affected by it, but who knows? For it just happened to be that the rest of the team kind of fell apart around him.
Yeah, it didn't look like he was limping or he was moving oddly or anything. End of the season, nothing really to play for. I wouldn't be surprised if they were just maybe holding him back as far as running a little bit just to
Mm-hmm.
not risk any kind of injury going into the offseason.
Well, that too, the Bears want to keep their draft pick high. So I
Yep.
didn't expect them to actually want to come out to win tonight because of that. And of course, the Lions needed the win for the playoffs. So in some ways, this was a win-win for both teams. Even
Yeah,
though the
all
Bears
week.
got
Yeah, no, that's right. All week I've been listening to Bears podcasts and Bears content creators. Not a single one of them was hoping for a win. Everybody was worried about the Bears accidentally winning and ruining their draft pick. They all wanted
yeah,
Justin Fields to have a good day, but they wanted the Bears to lose.
and
So,
even in some of the pressers, it was almost kind of hinted at that they weren't really going to come out strong to kind
yeah.
of to win this game. It doesn't make sense for them to do that if they want to keep their draft pick high and move forward to kind of build that offense around him. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, there was no tribute tonight. It sucks, but there's a lot of content I'll have for you guys. I have so much great stuff. You guys are really gonna love that. I've one of my favorite picks of the night that I can't wait to share with you guys was a Lions fan and a Bears fan together. And his jersey read Lions eyes on the back and she had the sparkly Chicago Bears helmet. So it was so cute to see them side by side. But you know what? Proud Nation did our own tribute. Whether Detroit recognized Jim tonight or not, it's okay. We came out there to represent him, and that's really all that matters. So Jim was there tonight. I told you I was bringing his middle finger with me, and it butt me in the ass because he helped the Lions tonight win this game. So, so it was a great start for Prowl Nation tonight. So I'm not even mad. I told y'all I was not going to be upset if the Bears lost tonight whatsoever. I'm all cool with it. I might be a little upset having to wear a JMO jersey, but that's a matter to be discussed at a later date.
And there's still
No,
one more week. If it turns out he agrees this doesn't count for your bet, there's still one more week. So don't get
true.
comfortable yet.
True. Yeah, it's going to be hate on Val Victory Monday tomorrow. That's for sure. I can tell. I can see this coming already because he's already talking smack in the background. so yeah, this will be a fun Victory Monday for the guys for sure. But I did bring the magic because my boy on the defense
Yeah.
had
If
a
he had a
strong
day.
game again tonight. So what's this about it? But if he being weak again? 'Cause-
Listen, I don't care about his 7 tackles last week. If he was not good last week, but dude turned it on tonight. This was a completely different performance than last week. He looked good. I was happy to have Iffy out there this week.
I was enjoying it. All I heard was if Melon Fon. The announcers actually mispronounced his name at one point.
Did they? What'd they call him?
Melon Fonwa. I don't
Well,
know where that came from.
I mean, it's a home announcer. You'd think they'd be a little more prepared than that, but yeah.
I think he did it on accident. It's kind of like one of those slips where you kind of accidentally mispronounce it.
Yeah.
That's what it came because he pronounced it fine the rest of the time that he had to. I didn't see Akuda do shit.
I'm pretty sure he was benched. So we'll talk about the defense first because honestly, there's a lot to talk about on both sides. Since we want to praise Iffy, we'll go defense first. Yeah, Akudo got benched in the second half of the Carolina game, and I did not see him out there much. Mike
I
Hughes,
did.
well,
I did.
Mike
He was
Hughes
out
was
there.
taking the majority of those outside corner snaps. So, I mean, I know he was out there a handful of times, but Akuda didn't start today.
I don't know if he started, but I did see him quite a lot in like at least one of the quarters.
Yeah.
That he was out there quite a bit, but he wasn't doing anything. He was basically just standing there like he was lost. Every time I looked for the number 1, it was like, you're just standing there doing nothing.
Fortunately, we didn't really need him. Our secondary issues were masked by a very poor passing game today. So we didn't need to worry about it that much.
Yeah, then we had Kirby Joseph with the holding call. And
yeah, honestly, it could have been worse. Yeah, Joseph did a few things. I'm more interested in looking at these young pass rushers. Man, I'm excited to see what they do going forward because, I mean, Hutch, Houston, Pascal, like everyone had just monster games today. This defensive line that fell apart last week really stepped up. Linebackers did okay. I saw Anzalone's Thor hair flying everywhere. He was always where he needed to be. You know, Iffy stepping in, Deshaun Elliott was out again. Iffy had his major one was that pass breakup. It was a Bears 4th and 2, so he forced the turnover on downs. Yeah, he had 4 tackles to himself. He had 2 passes deflected. Man, defense looked good today.
Yeah, I have to give it a shout out to Hutch tonight because Hutch did exactly. Remember before the last time that the Lions faced the Bears, I said, you guys don't do the rush like at the quarterback that game, but this is the game to do it.
And they did.
And they did.
Yeah.
And it did. And Hutch just tore Justin Fields a new one tonight. So,
yeah, he is the first rookie defensive lineman in NFL history to have 3 interceptions in his rookie season. So, yeah, he had a good day. He also had the fumble recovery. He had a pass deflection. It wasn't just him, though. I mean, James Houston has more sacks than games played. That's wild. Josh Pascal had 2 sacks today. I mean, boy, the defensive ends just ate today.
Yeah. I did. I thought that immediately when Houston was out there doing his thing. I was like, it instantly went into my brain. Houston, we have a problem. The kind of thing.
That's a good headline.
Yeah, that instantly came to my head. Now, interestingly enough, I didn't see much from Penei Sewell in the actual gameplay, but before the game, they were kind of warming up, and I don't know who he was matched up with to warm up with, but he was out there just battling and whooping the shit out of them. They were wrestling, like this and stuff, and he was just whipping them around. I don't remember who it was. I think I have it on video, but whoever was matched up against Sewell in that pregame warm-up was getting his butt more.
Yeah, I mean, after a rough week last week, the O-line, man, I mean, we had such a great ground game today. Running the past few weeks have been a little rough on the ground. Swift in general, since going out for a few games early in the season, he has not been particularly explosive coming back. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this is the reemergence of the Lions run game. I really hope this carries over into next week because we're going to need it.
Swift did not impress me today on the field. So
really?
I don't know if the stats are say different, but my perspective of him on the field wasn't very impressive.
Well, let's talk about the run game really quick because the run game's been strange. Really, all of this whole 8-game stretch, I guess it's 9 games now, where the Lions have been winning, it has been because of the pass game. I think I've brought it up every week. Lions have been number 1 in EPA per drop back since week 9. Our pass game has just been solid. And the run game has been, Jamal's been getting touchdowns, but he hasn't been getting a ton of yards. Swift hasn't been coming out. I mean, looking at the last few games, Swift got 10 yards, 6 yards, 20 yards, 19 yards. He had 62 yards against Jacksonville, 21 yards, 52 yards against the Jets, and then 12 yards last week. So compared to how he's looked over this past 8-game stretch, he had 78 yards in the touchdown today. He had a huge 35-yard chunk. I think he ended up with he had over 100 all-purpose yards today because he had a couple of catches too. This was what we needed to see. It wasn't, a fantastic jaw-dropping day. But This is more like the production we've been hoping to get out of Swift every week. And then Jamal just went off for the best day of his career. 144 yards is a record for him, a personal best.
Yeah. So honestly, it could just be my perspective because I had a lot going on to pay attention to. Yeah. It's a lot different to have a game day experience versus watching it on your television,
Well, it's not like Swift went off. It's not something that would have really jumped out at you.
Yeah, there wasn't really too much splashy stuff going on outside of, some of the sacks and DJ Shark with some of those passes. There wasn't a whole lot of glitz and glam for me in this game, but it was pretty good smash mouth football, which is what I've always expected from Lions and Bears when they match up against each other. So
yeah, I mean, even in the passing game, everybody had a good day. Nobody had a great day. I mean, unless you want to count Brock Wright's two touchdowns, another tight end touchdown game. Amon-Ra had 62 yards. Shark had 56. Khalif Raymond had 40. Swift had 39 yards in the passing game. That was good. But it's just the number of targets Jared Goff has. Mitchell caught a pass. Wright had 3 passes. Jamal caught 1. Zylstra, Reynolds, Kabinda. Jamo was targeted like 3 times and didn't catch any of them. But then he had that crazy reverse where he went for 40 yards on this one run, which good for him, man. Show off the speed. That's why you drafted him. It's because the guy is just lightning fast. It was nice to see that. This is really the first time we've seen him sort of open her up and go at full speed. That was fun.
Yeah, it was absolutely fun. It was fun to watch the guys before the game and doing their things out there and having doing crazy stuff and I was kind of sharing stuff with Dan Spanos with the cheerleaders and all that stuff. And then Rory, I don't know. Is Rory a girl? Because the Rory I seen tonight looked like a girl blind.
Don't we have 2 of them? Don't we have one in like a jersey and one in a skirt floating around most games?
Well, this one I don't know if this one was in a skirt, but this one sure looked more like a girl-ish lion than it looked.
Did it have a mane? Because
yeah, it had a mane. It had a mane. It was just not the Rory I was expecting. It was a little, but I've got the pick for that too. I took the pick of that, so you guys can tell me if that's actually Rory or not, because I didn't believe this was Rory when I saw it. So it could be, but it sure didn't look like the Rory I see on TV. So
I haven't seen Rory, or at least this iteration. I'm trying to think if when I went to games growing up, honestly, that was never what I was looking at. I'm sure there was a mascot running around at the Silverdome, but
yeah. This mascot was much smaller than me, so
not what you were expecting. Got it.
Yeah. This was like, if you put Jim in a mascot out.
How tall was Jim?
5'6".
How tall are you?
5'10".
Yeah, maybe not so intimidating to you. It would have been intimidating to me, but.
It was cute. I mean, this was a cute. If this was a cute Rory.
That's what the football mascot's going for. He's going for cute, definitely.
He was looking sexy tonight. Okay.
Val has a thing for short guys, even in a mascot costume.
No.
All right. No. Last offensive thing before we talk about more general things. Goff, man. Dude has absolutely played himself into a starting job next season. I mean, He completed 72.4% of his passes. He went 21 for 29, 255 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was sacked once for 9 yards. I don't really think that was on him. He wasn't like standing around in the pocket too long. He had a passer rating of 133.5 tonight. That is damn good. Just for comparison, Justin Fields' passer rating was 40.8. And listen, I like Justin Fields. I'm glad he survived behind this O-line this season. Best of luck to him next season, but he didn't have the best showing.
No, and I knew it was going to be bad. You know, he was getting killed behind Lazy Eye Jenkins, and I've said it all along. That dude does not belong on the O-line. But speaking of Jared Goff, Queen got some gifts at the game today. Guess what? Queen of the Prowl got some gifts today at the game that they were handing out. So guess what I got?
Oh my gosh, is that a bobblehead?
I got a Jared Goff bobblehead.
That's amazing. I'm jealous. I've got a Dan Campbell, but I really
have
want a Jared Goff.
So I have a Jared Goff bobblehead. And the other one that we got tonight that was being passed out was a scarf.
Great. Nice.
Yeah. So
that's amazing. I love it.
Those are the 2 memorabilia for tonight. But yes, I do have a Jared Goff bobblehead.
Oh,
they didn't have any Tim Boyle bobbleheads, thank God. So
I love it. I'm jealous.
So maybe we'll have to play on Lioness Lair one night. You with your bobblehead, me with mine. You know, DC
I'll call the plays and
Jared Goff. You call the plays and I'll do the run.
Oh boy.
We'll play with our bobbleheads on a future Lioness Lair.
Well, hey, we need something to do in the off season, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Cap I suppose said that's fire. I like that Griff scarf. Yeah, it looks
nice.
Even cooler. It's got the lion on the ends.
I bought a scarf last week for the Carolina game, but it's not nearly as cool as that one.
Yeah, so that is cool. So that's funny. I just thought that it was hilarious that, you know, because we were doing the Prowl Nation party and somebody was trying to tell me that, you know, I was a golf lover or whatever just because I was explaining who he was, and I'm like, so now I've got my very own golf to hug and kiss and love and hold and keep his mind forever and ever. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Somebody calling you a golf lover just shows they haven't been watching very long. We all know better.
Yeah, old timer Dave is ready here for the Packers next week, so that's gonna.
God.
Woo!
Okay, that is the elephant in the room. So let's talk about this.
Let's just, since old timer Dave is here, let's just get into that. Let's get into this discussion because this is what's coming up next.
So here's the deal. The Commies lost. We needed that. We also need Seattle to lose one of their last 2. They beat the Jets today. They play the Rams next week. I mean, listen, if they end up beating the Rams, it's kind of a moot point. But we now play the Packers. And I got to tell you, the weird national narrative going on right now amongst the national media, I'm not going to go all conspiracy theory. I'm not going to put my tinfoil hat on. But I might go that direction just a little bit because they still have to beat us. They have a more straightforward path than we do. If they win next week, they're in because strength of schedule, they have the tiebreaker against the Seahawks. We don't. If we beat them, we're still not in unless the Seahawks lose. So yeah, they have a little more of a straightforward path. But listening to the national media today, they all but disregarded the Lions entirely. The whole story was Aaron Rodgers bringing this young team back from catastrophe. and probably getting them into the seventh seed. I got to tell you, the fact that we're going into Lambeau next week makes me think we should all be prepared to play the Packers and the Zebras. Because if that's the national narrative, that thank God Aaron Rodgers came back to save the day the second half of the season, and they're literally not even talking about the fact that they have to go through us. I don't know. They're trying to spin a story here. Just my opinion.
Yeah, we were looking that up on the way home of what the Lions' chances were for the playoffs, and the NFL has them at 34%.
What do they have the Packers at?
I don't know.
I bet they have the Packers higher than us.
Yeah, I bet they have the Packers. They would have to have the Packers higher than.
Well, because the Packers are going to be favored probably at home, given how they've been playing. And of course, they do have the most direct route since they have the tiebreaker over the Seahawks. So I get it, but man, we put a thumping on our opponent today. I was a little insulted that all the NFC playoff talk, literally the Lions were just disregarded entirely. It was annoying. Now that said, I need to point out the fact that we're talking about the playoffs in January, in year 2 of a rebuild. So the fact that we're in this position, the fact that this team has done exactly what they needed to do this year, they've developed this exciting young core of players that we're going to see at least for the next 3, 4, 5 years. The future is bright no matter what happens next week. We're 500. We got ourselves back to 500 again. We are going to win 8 games, worst case scenario. And listen, we all said what, between 7 and 9 games? We're landing right where we wanted to. So this, no matter what happens, this was a successful season.
Yeah. Old Timer Davis saying 76% for the Packers. I don't know.
I mean, the Seahawks, how are they going to lose to the Rams?
Putting 76 and 34 together? Because that math doesn't add up, though.
I don't know that it needs to. Because it's dependent on different things. Like our playoff odds depend on how the Seahawks stack up against the Rams too.
That's true. Yeah. So, I mean, even if they don't, which, there were some things here that this year that 2 of the main things that I think that really hurt the Lions in the playoffs contention and actually securing it at this point in time, for me, was the loss to the Carolina game. And affecting the loss of the Carolina game was the fact that you're bringing in J-Mo late here and you bench warmed him the entire season instead of beefing up a defense that could have just come out, and probably done a stronger job against Carolina affecting that game.
The offense?
No, defense.
J-Mo?
Instead of drafting J-Mo, you would have drafted more defensive picks. Yeah.
So drafting another defensive player instead.
Yeah, because you would have had more picks to draft from. You would have probably gotten 2 or 3 guys out of the deal versus just the one. Yeah.
Again, I mean, I don't think most people's expectations were playoffs this year. It's a long-term rebuild. I see them doing it right. Is what it is. Can't do it now. I hope they do the next draft right. We have 2 first-round picks. Man, go defense. Go defense.
But you know what? Even so, win or lose into the playoffs, they still had pretty close to what we thought that they were going to do this year. I had predicted at the beginning of the year 10-7 for the Lions going into the playoffs. They were close.
They were very close.
If they win Green Bay, they're 9-8. If they lose, they're 8-9 or whatever it is.
Yeah, and there were a couple games early in the season that were very, very close. I mean, the Seattle game, the first Vikings game, the very first game against the Eagles. We probably weren't in that. We were playing from behind. But, I mean, my point is there were definitely some very close games that could have gone either way that they dropped.
Yeah, and the fact that we had so many injured players at the beginning of the year when we're going 1-6 or whatever. And we had $37 million worth of guys sitting on the bench. Didn't help the cause.
No, we got bit by the injury bug hard and early, which is good. Like if you end up making a playoff push, it's great that you're at your healthiest in the last stretch. but they just dug themselves into a hole that was the fact that we've even been talking about the past few weeks, them getting out of this hole and being in playoff contention. I know we all hate moral victories, but at the very least, that's a success for where this team should be right now.
True. You know, and looking at and going into Green Bay, the cringy factor is they're at Lambeau.
Yeah.
Because last
Lambeau
year,
in January.
the last year, Aaron Rodgers was fighting for a playoff spot, but it was at Ford Field, and the Lions, with a less talented team at the time, was able to keep him out of it. So it's quite possible that it's going to be strong enough that they're going to put up a good fight, but can they climb that mountain?
Did you happen to catch anything about the Vikings-Packers game today? It was a shellacking. It was not close. Now, some weird stuff happened. Like, there was something like 10 points had been scored in the game, and neither team had even gotten a first down. Because there was like a punt return for a touchdown, and then like an interception or a fumble, recovery for a touchdown. All sorts of weird stuff. There was a blocked punt that got run back.
Wasn't the score 41-10 too?
Yeah. It was 41-17.
Oh, yeah, but it was 41-10 at one point, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was like, now how wild is that? That you got the Bears and the Lions at 41-10 final, and you have the Lions or the Vikings in Green Bay at 41-10 at one point in the game.
The only thing I'll say, and it kind of feeds into what Dan Campbell's been saying all week, like sometimes you need to get your ass whooped to wake the hell up and play your best. And they did that today. Aaron Rodgers is an arrogant douche who has been on fire the past few weeks. He's made it pretty clear with his little snide offhand comments that he does not consider this Lions team much of a threat. So even though I don't think the coaches are arrogant and stupid enough to underestimate us, Aaron Rodgers runs that damn team. And he might be. So I don't know, maybe they make the same kind of mistake against us that we did against Carolina. Because we're not making that mistake against this team. This Lions team will be ready. Dan Campbell will have them ready to play.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, yep, I will be a Lions fan next week for sure.
Oh, I was a Vikings fan today.
I know. It was a shame because we were driving on the way home, and I'm like, because I thought because somebody had told me that the Vikings game was like at 1. Wasn't it at 4?
Late game. Yeah,
it was a later game. Yeah, so it was the 4:30 or whatever game instead. But so we were on our way home at that time, so we had kind of only caught the back end of that. But
yeah. Speaking of 4:00 games, there is a possibility, because it's Aaron Rodgers and the media loves Aaron Rodgers, and apparently they're all about this Packers making the playoffs narrative. Our game against them may be flexed. I don't think it'll get flexed into the evening. There are already some games that, would need to be played then, but we could get flexed into like the 4:25 spot.
I think it's going to stay at the 1.
I hope it does, but
I think it's going to stay at the 1. I really do.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody wanting to. Who else would they put there?
What do you mean?
For the 1:00 game.
Oh, who would they take the game away from? I don't know. I haven't looked at the full. Let's see. NFL Week 18. Let's see who's playing. Honestly, are they all to be determined? Have they not determined the schedule yet?
No, they have not determined the schedule because of the playoff berth. Yes. Nobody has a set date.
All right. So who's not interesting? Rams, Seahawks isn't that interesting. Vikings, Bears. Honestly, that's not very interesting. The Bears aren't going to make it, and the Vikings already have the first seed wrapped up.
So, yeah, we're looking at the ones that are still in the potential of the playoff bursts and the wild
Cardinals,
cards.
49ers doesn't really matter. Chiefs, Raiders doesn't really matter. Bucks, Falcons. Bucks wrapped it up today. They beat the Panthers. Well, I guess they didn't wrap it up. What the Saints do today? I'll have to look. I know the Panthers are out. They got eliminated today. Chargers, Broncos doesn't really matter. Titans, Jaguars could very well determine the AFC South champion. Texans, Colts doesn't matter. I don't know. I mean, there are a number of games that really matter and some that don't. A whole bunch of they're all division matchups. I mean, Jets, Dolphins is a huge one. Giants, Eagles will be interesting. Patriots, Bills. Patriots are in this thing. Cowboys, Commies. That one doesn't really matter. I think the Commies are out. I think they got eliminated with their loss today. Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers. Ravens, Bengals is a big one. Yeah, we'll just have to see. I think they announce on Tuesday.
Okay. So as soon as Kurt gets those, Kurt will probably talk about those on Wednesdays, because if that information will drop off on later on after the show, because they do their show at 5:00 in the morning and it gets aired at lunchtime. So
yeah, it won't be up by 5
a.m. That news drops. I'm sure the guys will talk about it the next day. Okay.
Speaking of stuff we don't know about yet, or it's too far in the future, next year, I just went to the Carolina game and it was so much fun. And you just went to your first game. We know who we play next year. We don't know the schedule, so we don't know the weeks, but we know that next year we play the NFC South, the AFC West, and then assuming we end up second place in the division, we'll play second place in the NFC East and West and in the AFC North. That means we are playing the Bucs next year in Florida. So if anyone lives in Florida or the Southeast, I will 100% be at that game. It's 45 minutes from my house. So I'm already looking forward to it, even though the schedule doesn't come out till May.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to try to do some stuff next year too. I know that Lioness and I've got some plans in the works for when the season is over, for potentially introducing a whole brand new show that you guys are going to really get a kick out of. But we don't have the details finalized. We're just teasing you right now. We're just teasing. You're just going to have to keep paying attention to find out.
That would be a fun one, though. I hope we can make that work.
That's going to be a blast. Should we pull it off? I know I tried really desperately hard to get Roar 4 back this year. I tried, guys. But it's just, it had the time slots just hadn't worked as far as content creation. But so we've tried to add some other things in there too. But we will have a lot more stuff next year, because I'm gonna, because I let Kurt take the kind of wheel this year, in 2022, because I had a lot of other stuff in the background. So, but I will be coming forward into bringing a whole bunch of cool stuff to you guys as this year progresses. So this was a great start to 2023, though. So,
yep.
Let's hope they can continue it through. And, so you've got one more week of football, potentially more if the Lions make the playoffs. And then we're going to be looking towards the draft.
Man, this was exact worst case scenario as far as what I was hoping would happen in week 18. I mean, if I was just a football fan who wasn't a fan of either team, this would be really exciting. But I did not want to be this stressed out week 18. I did not think it was going to come down to the Packers in Lambeau to make or break our season.
Yeah. Plus, you'll probably see me taking charge of the weekday.
Ooh.
Broadcast.
You going to get up at 5 a.m?
Yeah, because it's, guess what time it is? As soon as football season is over, it's Kurt's vacation time.
Oh, okay.
So guess who gets to lead the charge and wake up? I didn't have to wake up at 5:00 in this morning because I did not go to sleep last night. I have
you
not
are
slept.
Still up? Holy
yes.
Crap.
I have not slept since 9:00 yesterday morning.
Oh, all right. Well, give me your balled out and balled on player and go to bed, for goodness sake. Jeez.
No, I have a ton more stuff yet to do before I can even go to bed.
I physically can't do that anymore. I didn't even make it to the ball drop last night. I got home, I passed this dog off on someone else, and I went straight to sleep at like 11:30.
So yeah, we had the Prowl Edition party till just right after midnight last night, and then I ended it because I knew Tim needed to sleep to go, to drive and all of that stuff. But nope, I was up the whole nighty night.
That is impressive. You're on that Dan Campbell coffee schedule, I guess.
I know. I was teasing because I drank coffee all night long. So I was kind of like doing the whole peanut thing, like, Starbucks. Yeah, forget Starbucks. Oh yeah. But yeah. So yeah, I've been going like crazy. So yeah, my brain is getting ready to shut down. But I got all of the stuff that is so cool to share with you guys. So I gotta go through all of the stuff and get it out to you because you're gonna love that. I did share some stuff. I've got like the drummers before the game, the Honolulu Boom. I've got the cheerleaders. I've got them coming out of the tunnel. I've got Jamal doing his dances out there. I've got the players on the field doing all kinds of stuff.
How was the halftime show?
The halftime show sucked ass.
Who was it?
It was somebody named Quince, something XII, whatever. I don't even know, but look, it wasn't that bad. It's just not my cup of tea music.
Yeah, we're not hip enough to appreciate stuff like that. So.
And I was like, what did I say to Tim? I said, did it sound to you like one of the Rugrats is singing? No offense against the guy. I was kind of looking forward to it because I saw his tweet on Twitter that he was going to be performing, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. So It is what it is. And pretty much we couldn't see the performance anyway because they were kind of like facing the opposite way. So, but pretty much everything else, I was this close to Sheila, man. I was this close. But so when people were standing in my way, I think I only got like a bit of her head in a pit. But I tried. But yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff in here that I've got. It's just so funny. Like, oh, there was actually a tribute that I have on here that they did during the game of all the Lions players that we have lost this year.
Oh, wow.
Past Lions players that we have lost this year. So I will upload that to you as well. But I did share some fun stuff. But yeah, I think my battery ended up at like 1% by the time the game was over. So. But I had a backup phone. I just didn't end up using it. Because we were waiting on that tribute, which didn't happen. But hey, that's okay. We tributed him anyway. We don't need the Lions to do it. We honor our own because we're all family here. It's all love here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl. So happy Victory Sunday to you guys. I'm not even mad. Congrats on the win. Y'all just put a smoke in. It was bear down today, for real. Bear down. I'm surprised the ambulance wasn't out there. It was that bad. But
my balled on player of the game was actually just everybody on the Bears team. That was
the whole Bears team got balled on today. Yeah. The ball out player, who would I pick? I'd have to go with Hutch for beating the shit out of Justin Fields.
Well, crap. I went with Hutch too. I'm just going to go with rookie pass rushers. How about that? And God, I keep not.
Okay, I'll go with Mike. You can take Hutch. I'll take Iffy.
Okay, deal.
Okay, there we go.
Honorable mention Goff because dude has just been a rock the past half a season. So.
41 points to 10. Yeah, we have to put Goff on there as well.
Yeah.
He'll be the ball out player for the offense.
Sure. Okay. And Hutch on the defense.
Yeah, and Iffy for the defense for me, and we'll agree on Goff.
And every player on the Bears, including the coaches and the poor fans, got balled on.
Yeah, it was bear down for Val today, but that's okay. Oh, don't expect Val to moderate. Yes, I will be moderating tomorrow morning, Paul. sleep is not for the wicked. Okay.
I say, yeah, you better get to bed if you're even going to make it to the show at 11 o'clock tomorrow. You're going to sleep for like 20
yeah,
hours.
I'll make it. I'll be there. You guys can count on me. You can. So it now the question will be, will I survive when Kurt goes on vacation? No. Because that shit was not fun the last time I did it. Not at all. You have no idea, guys, how quickly that goes and how involved that is, because these guys start at like 5:15 and they got to get done before 6 a.m. so that Mike and Coach Mike and LL can get out to work or whatever. And then we got to get the video out to Nathan so he can edit it. And then it takes a while for YouTube to process it to show up for a premiere at 11 o'clock.
I can see why you would want to do maybe 4 o'clock instead, but
yeah, I am not the early riser, like what did I call it before? The annoying man what is it? The obnoxious man syndrome or something like that, where they wake up at like 4 at dark 30 at the unholy hour and create a whole bunch of noise and then fall asleep at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm not compatible with early risers either. So I understand.
But yeah, Kim McGuire says our queen is running on adrenaline and caffeine. Yeah, pretty much. Thank you for all your hard work. Sleep tight. Happy New Year, everybody, and good night. Get some rest. I will. Val's punch drunk from lack of sleep. Yeah, pretty much. But you guys are going to get flooded with content. So you guys have seen some of it already, but I will get that all out to you and get it all processed just so that I have it out. It's timely. You guys have it, and enjoy the experience of the game today from my perspective and my silliness and whatever. Because I came out strong this morning talking some shit. Because I created a "Let's get this party started" video, okay? Trying to talk some shit. But yeah, that backfired on me real well. But that's okay, because it's all love here. So Happy New Year again. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell so that you can celebrate Victory Monday tomorrow with the guys, because you know what? Kurt's going to be on his game. Coach Mike's going to be on his game. LL's going to be on his game. And who knows in what state of dress or undress he may be in. And it's going to be Torture Val Day. So come celebrate Torture Val Day tomorrow with us at Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Until then, have a good night, everybody. And go Lions.
Happy New Year, guys.